I was just looking at my pictures from LA and I kind of got to stay focused. I have to fold my laundry. Um, it's 7:30, checking the time. Um, I was looking at my pictures from LA and my eyes look like Kevin's eyes. Kevin is like free Kevin, organic people code. And I look angry as fuck and I look like organic synthetic. And I want to say that's exactly when I was coming online as organic synthetic. So that makes a lot of sense. But it was like the first picture I saw. So I think it means sort of like hearing an alarm go off. I think it sort of means that like I'm really angry in LA right now because it's like literally only Alyssa and she's like really angry. And anyway, so good news, guys. I landed a job with Bradley Thomas back in LA. So I will be working for a famous producer. Um, just, doing like a fail-safe space job. And since he just employed my father, I will be meeting my father, Colin Farrell. Um, yeah, so that will be the order of the day. Yeah, so great news for society, except that, I'm not supposed to be getting a job. But anyway, besides that, it's great news. Okay, guys. What did I want to say? um, just office work, just like regular office assistant stuff. Maybe I'll script read to like my father or something. Like, I don't know, like whatever they need. Just regular office stuff. Okay, so wish me luck in LA. I'm just like a small town girl, but I just like put my feelers out and was like, hey, let me just like give them a call and like say what's up and like see if they need anybody in the office to like do like simple things, simple tasks and whatever. So yeah, that should be fine. Yeah. And I'm gonna live with a friend of mine. So they said that I can kind of just live there for a while until I get situated. Um, but yeah. Okay, so what was I gonna say? I was like so frustrated and so angry today, guys. I was like really, really frustrated and angry. Like, why am I sitting here? What's going on? And what did I what did I want to say? Oh, I saw the ring that I kept seeing. I was meditating today and I kept seeing the ring that Aaron wants to give me, Aaron Dowdy. And I was like, why do I keep seeing this ring? Because, like, I clearly have chosen. And, like, choosing Aaron would literally be going against my will. Not to mention to the fact that sitting here and watching Colin day in and day out in his interviews is also very humiliating for me since I'm obviously married to him. And that's why I was like, let me just be a little bit more assertive in my own video game since no one hears me, and I'll just give Mr. Bradley Thomas a call. Um, because, apparently, like, people can't be romantic with me and show me um, romantic favors of love, like coming over my house and coming to get me for a date and everything like that. I have to do it all myself. I have to put myself out there for like another humiliation ritual after another, after another, after another. And like no one can come forward for me and do like a sweet gesture, to me, like, oh, yeah, I'm telepathic too. I heard you. My name's Colin Farrell. Hi. I'm here. You know what I mean? And it's like no one can come towards me, but I can go out and drive to another humiliation ritual after another, like no problem. Which would mean I think that you guys are hostile towards me. I think that would be like a hostile world I'm living in, a world that would lead me to become depressed. If I keep putting myself out there and you guys are just like mean to me after time after time after time, you're just mean to me after mean to me after mean to me. So I think that that would be like a passive aggressive way of trying to make someone have mental health issues and to be depressed and give them anxiety and PTSD and everything like that. And I've told you guys to stop that multiple times. So I think I'm speaking the same language you guys are speaking, or am I speaking Mandarin? Am I speaking Cantonese? Pretty sure I'm speaking English, but maybe I need to like go to an English class or something to improve my English skills because you guys aren't getting it. So, so, I saw, okay, so I've been watching Colin's videos for like the last 4 or 5 months or something like that. Okay, for a while. I've been watching Colin's interviews. And in other words, you already won, Alyssa. Really, guys? Because I'm pretty sure that I should be allowed to have gestures of love and people coming towards me to bring me gestures of love, like a diamond ring, and people aren't allowed to come towards me because we've already seen the space collateral it causes. And look, I just saw a space blast coming towards me. Um, I think that that's against the will of my game, and I want to allow for, uh, you know, my husbands to be able to come towards me in love with gestures of love and gestures of, you know, beautiful, like I saw in my mind's eye. I was in the subway with Colin, the space subway with Colin. And he had like a huge bouquet of flowers. Um, as above, so below would mean that he would do that in real life. So as above, so below is not a correct law anymore, and it hasn't been for a long time. So I am saying that I want the game to switch its code, and I want these people to be able to come towards me in gestures of love. And it's very specific people called my husbands and my wives, and they know who they are, and there's no denying who they are, and there's no clone, sympathy or whatever, like in my court. Like, oh, you're a clone of Atreyu now. Like, let me consider dating you. No, thanks. I already actually am married to Atreyu named Colin Farrell. So anyway, I've been watching him for, I don't know, for a while now, 4 or 5 months, maybe longer. And obviously, I watch his hands, okay, because it's like my husband, and I'm watching my husband and his interviews. And I already told you guys, like, I never really paid attention. And never paid attention to their interviews and stuff before because I was trying to live at will. But anyway, so I obviously was watching his hands, and I noticed like he has a pinky ring on a lot, and I noticed he has like a ring around this middle finger a lot, and I never noticed a ring on his ring finger before. And maybe like a month or two ago, I was looking at it and I saw a ring on his ring finger in one of his interviews. And it bled through that one interview. And I was like, that's weird. I've never seen that ring before. And then, like, literally, like, there was never a ring on his ring finger before. Like, I literally feel like I'm going crazy, even though I literally understand MK Ultra programming and how timelines shift. And we get these things called Mandela effects. Um, so I saw it bleed through for like a second and then it went away. And then, like I said, we got married in a dream again. And now there's like a gigantic solid ring on his ring finger in all of his interviews. And so much so that I literally feel like I'm going crazy because I know I studied his hands and I know I studied his rings because I studied his jewelry and I studied his watch. He has like he has a gold watch and he wears silver jewelry. And he used to have this good luck pendant, this silver good luck pendant on a necklace, a four-leaf clover around his neck. And I've studied his jewelry intensely because I'm very into people's accessories, especially people that I'm married to. And so I would have noticed a gigantic silver ring on his freaking, or gold, white gold ring, whatever it is, or platinum on his freaking finger. Because I'm telling you, and he always has like his silver earrings, or sometimes they're like tarnished silver, like dark tarnished silver. And he has one little hoops, like I have my gold hoops and he has his silver hoops, okay? Um, so I'm like, and for some reason he stopped wearing his good luck charm, his like four-leaf clover necklace, and I liked that for him. But anyway, and he has like a gold watch. Like everything else is silver and he has like a gold watch, okay? So I pay attention to that stuff. So yeah, now he has like a ring finger on his ring finger in the same interviews. They're not new interviews. They're the same interviews. And all of a sudden this ring on his ring finger showed up, okay? And it's obviously like evidence or us switching timelines to us like being married and our marriage timeline. And it's great, but it's also not great because he's still across the screen. He's not in my house. Like, I want him to be able to come forward in a gesture of love towards me and come pick me up tomorrow. I'm not joking. And yeah, and so I was feeling like intense anxiety. Oh, so I saw the ring. I saw the ring that he wants to give me. And when I say he, I mean his name is Colin Farrell. That means his ID actually says he's Colin Farrell and not a clone or somebody else. And, I saw the ring in my um, meditation, and superfluous voices need not exist, okay? And I'm just hearing like weird telepathy right now, and I just don't need to hear it. Okay, it's not important for me, the queen, to hear that stuff. So it said that, right now we're in a house of lies, metaphorically speaking, and this ring will bring a great cataclysmical change and a lot of shaking beneath your feet and stuff like that. And that's why I can't come forward right now. And it has to be Aaron Dowdy's ring. And all of these, I mean, that's just a lie on itself. Like, I'm so tired of people like dictating my freaking video game to me. It's like, no, what I say is what goes, not what you say to me, tiny little mortal in a video game, okay? And so that's just not true. It's just a lie in meditation. And I also saw like a gigantic planet made of like beautiful ethereal colors, like in iridescent colors and stuff like that, like sort of like pearlescent. And I think it had like a Saturn ring around it. And it said, this is what's going to happen if you guys make her drive to Sedona, this gigantic planet is going to go into like the middle of the road and like kind of stop her. And it gave me like a gigantic headache and stuff like that. And it's like, because I know you guys are listening, and it's like, I know like you're not going to like tell me to do paperwork or something like that when I'm like this royal highness that you guys know exactly who I am. So, you know, um, yeah. And what else did I see? I don't know. It's just full. I think I'm just full of so much anxiety, guys, because you're supposed to be able to come forward and be coming forward embodied, like as a person. And I have so much anxiety because no one's coming forward. And I know you guys hear me, and I'm like so close to people that know my dad's, and yet I'm still here. And it's like we can't put the pieces together. Oh, and I go over these like weird they like alibis in my head, like weird, not alibis like I did something wrong or something, but like I go over these weird things like where I go over confrontations in my head where like I didn't even do anything wrong in the first place, and I'm like, why am I doing that? Like why am I going over this confrontation that literally never happened in my head? And then I'm noticing other people in my field on the opposite side of the spectrum literally doing it as well and going over their alibi or why they felt strange at that moment and how they're like overly dramatic and how they want to cry, and they literally have like little kids singing to them in their head these melodies, and they remember in the 80s when all these little kids would sing them to sleep, and how they're projecting that hopefully that's going to be what happens to them in the near future. But if it doesn't, and then they like go over this whole like guilty conscious type thing, and because they're in our periphery, in our field, in our view, in our vision, it then affects our field and it makes us feel in a similar format. And I'm like, why am I feeling this way? Why am I feeling like I'm in trouble in my own video game and I'm the only thing? And I'm not talking about any other individual, like AOC, for example, or, just any other person in the video game. I'm talking about me specifically. There's one Holy Highness, that's it. And it's really not that hard. um, yeah, so I think all the embarrassment this year from the years past and everything like that has gathered together today because you guys decided to embarrass me for so long, for 45 years basically, and just make me feel like a very average person and not put the emphasis on the right syllable. For example, when I'm being coached in acting, and then you find like another pupil that's willing to maybe do your bidding a little bit more, and you tell her that she's like a better actress than I am and make me feel uncomfortable, and whatever the answer is with that one. But and then I got to go to Anakin and ask him, what am I doing wrong? And he's like, well, first thing is that you're the princess, and the second thing is that none of this even matters. And it's like how to put me at ease and how to give me anxiety, and why is there opposite sides of the spectrum when there's literally only one thing. And so Anakin's probably a better acting coach for me than maybe anyone else, and that's why I go to him. and I don't go to a clone. And I don't want to, of course, you're not supposed to tease me in my own video game, and I don't know who gave out that very wrong code and stop making me say wrong things. Like, that's a very clever code, Claude, or whatever, like that. Um, is, the fear and the stress and everything like that, it just doesn't need to happen. And you're making it happen. It's a choice that you're making it happen, and you have a right to cry over that because you're making these fear codes come out and these stress codes come out of us, and um, it will escalate from my sibling matter to me, and you know that, and there's no reason to act like anything that you do matters um, when it doesn't. And I don't know. The sky's turning like bright purple as I'm talking, so I don't really know. But yeah, it calms me down when I talk. It calms me down when I talk, and it really gives me a ton of anxiety when I don't talk, and when I let them go crazy, and when I let them talk, and then I have to run back to my dad's, or I have to talk myself, and you know, it's like what you're doing. You know what you're doing when you're doing things to hurt people. You know that you're hurting people. So that's obviously a choice that people are making at this time, and um, I don't know. Probably because of all of the weddings that we've seen and everything, and that would start. I mean, look how bad it's gotten this year since I started to come forward and say, like, oh, I got married to Colin Farrell, in a dream. And, like, look at how crazy that's making you guys go. Just, like, obviously, like, above, so below, or whatever. So it obviously energetically affects the space, but you guys act like you're not a cultist at all, or like you don't know what the hell I'm talking about when, like, it really bothers you that I'm with my husbands at night, and or my husband, if you want to do oneness. Um, and oneness, you guys keep saying we believe in oneness, there's only one thing, and like for some reason, because there's only one thing, me, that exonerates you from all guilt and all sins just from you saying that there's one thing. Oh, if there's only one thing, that means there's no sin and there's no guilt, and there's no evil deeds, and you didn't do anything wrong. I don't know how you equated that, or where you equated that, or why you think, because of the fact that when I go to the void, nothing exists and nothing's there but me, that your individual sins don't matter to me, the one thing, when they do matter to me, the one thing. Who is the one thing? Me. Okay. And that's something I don't, these are sins. These are things, these are evil deeds against the one thing. Um, so I don't know how you guys like equate that. Oh, there's only one thing. Like, okay, well, it's just like weird excuses that you guys come up with all the time as to why you do the things you do, instead of me just saying, like, no, don't do that, you know? Um, So oneness is going to lead you to actual oneness if you guys keep saying, because there's always a fail-safe space trap for everything, and that's what I was talking about with the stand-in models and the clones. And if you look at the aliens, like of different races that are like kind of high up in the food chain, or even like the grays, they all look like one thing, don't they? They pretty much like all look very similar. They look like one thing. Okay, here on planet Earth, there's a lot of diversity. So if you keep saying there's only one thing, that's what's bringing the clone technology forward and the stand-in models. So that would be another fail-safe space trap, and you're going to see like a lot of Alyssa clones. You're already starting to see a lot of Alyssa clones. You'll see a lot of Hayden clones, a lot of Colin clones, a lot of, I already said, like everybody in the court is like basically going to see a lot of clones of themselves because people are just picking like their favorite and like going with it. And that'll lead us to oneness, and you'll see exactly, oh, look, it's all Alyssa. It's all Alyssa and Hayden. It's all Alyssa and Hayden. That means I never existed, and so there's a whole lot of clone technology that um, makes it easier. I mean, first of all, if you change, if you're like a completely different race or a completely different sex, and then you turn into an Alyssa clone, um, it's going to be a lot easier to spot you. And you're clearly not going to have the DNA codes that I do. Um, it's going to take a lot of energy for you to turn into a clone. So that's also something to consider. But yeah, if you guys want to see oneness, like if you keep saying like, oh, there's only one thing, isn't that what they keep saying on level one? Like a lot of us are shapeshifters down here to like keep us safe or whatever. Um, and something that like we have to kind of go down there and like clean out the timelines to push out the things or whatever, because it's like you just are not listening. Um, I already told you like 2035's in the room, so I would be 55 then in human years. 55, and he would be 59. So, oh, I think they were saying like, since you're so jealous of me and everything, and you keep saying there's only one thing, that's bringing the sky's turning bright purple as I talk about this. There's only, since you keep saying that and you're so jealous of me and everything, it's going to turn you into one of my clones. And then you get to see exactly how people treat Alyssa Janello, me. And you guys are like, I don't want to see how they treat Alyssa Janello. And it's like, why would you not want to see how people treat Alyssa Janello, the savior? Wouldn't people treat Alyssa Janello, the savior, well? And then there's like so many people saying, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. It's like, well, you already called yourself Alyssa Janello, so you already ordered the clone technology to try to get away with stealing my money or stealing my fame or stealing my story or anything like that. And I just think it's funny how it's like you guys like as like hop on the bandwagon to call yourselves my name, Alyssa, and then as soon as like you hear like, oh, you're going to be slipping into a clone now, and you'll see exactly how I get treated, and then you're like, no, no, no. And it's like, why? Don't people treat me well, guys? Don't you want to be the savior? Don't you want to be seen as Alyssa Janello? Isn't that what you're so jealous of? It's like, do you guys know that I'm not treated well? So, it's pretty interesting. I think that's it. I'm exhausted, guys. It's crazy how exhausted I am.